My name is Cassy Summers. Welcome to the Curious Universe podcast. So we're going to talk about self-love today. Pretty sure I talked about self-love in some other episode, and it was awesome. So you should check that out too. But today we're actually putting our attention on self-love rituals. I really believe that self-care leads to self-love. I grew up not taking care of myself, not taking care of my body. And I don't know which one came first, but I had no self-love. I had a total lack of self-love. So was that created because I never cared for my body, for me, the being? Or did I never develop self-love because I was never caring for my body or the being? Doesn't actually really matter which way it came. But what I have noticed and in working with my clients over the years is that, and myself personally, is that when you start to create rituals of self-care from that place of self-love, it births within you a real sense of falling in love with yourself. Not, I think I'm great and like positive affirmations, but actually truly acknowledging the gift of your being and your body. And we're looking at them as they are two unique things. They're together, they're creating together, but your body has its own consciousness and your being has its own consciousness, and they're kind of experiencing this lifetime together in a unique way. So when I'm talking about self-love, I'm not just talking about loving your body, but I am. And I'm not just talking about loving your being, but I am. I am including them both in this conversation. And when you have true caring for your body and for your being, then you start to really develop that self-love. Now, why is self-love even valuable? Well, we know that people that really truly love themselves often don't get into abusive relationships. They often don't compromise what's true for them. They seem to develop lives that support. It's as though the universe can love you better and deeper and more. And then you attract those people in your life. So if you're wanting more people that are caring, kind people that will cherish you, a great place to start is to cherish yourself. Now let's go into the ritual piece, because this really lit me up when I started to look at this for myself, and have been talking about this for the last little bit with other people. So, what is a ritual? Some people kind of go into the religious field with that, or they go into maybe the witchy world with that. Well, you can actually create anything as a ritual. You can create a shower, could be a ritual. You probably have a lot of rituals right now that you've never acknowledged. It's kind of like a series of actions performed in a certain way. Usually there's like a sequence to it, or the way that you do it. And it can become that ritual. And you can actually, what I'd like to look at today is when you can take something, you can elevate it to almost like this realm of love and loving energy. Not love from, we all know love can be a distractor implant, but that true caring and kindness, that true acknowledgement of being. So let's look at the art of creating some self-care, some self-love rituals. Here's some kind of tips that you can use and you can explore curiously. How would you do this for you? Like, what could you create for you and institute in your life that would start to create real expressions of self-love for you? So one thing is when I look at like creating your environment, all right? So I go to the self-care model. So many people have said to me, of course I do self-care. I like have a bath once a week. I'm like, oh, what are you doing in the bath? It's like, well, you know, I'm like shaving and then I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And it's like very like getting things done. It's a lot more about the desire to create their body as beautiful, not from the beauty of the body, but from like the rightness of beauty. These things that need to be done to take care of, not care for. To take care of, but not actually to care for. So what rituals of self-care have you brought into your life that are more about taking care of things and not caring for them? Maybe it's taking care of, you're taking care of your mental health, but not caring for your mental health, not caring for your body, not caring for your spirituality, your consciousness, whatever that is for you. If it's even your religious beliefs. I'm not religious, but I have no point of view about people that are, so a ritual for people that go to, a traditional Christian or Catholic churches, they go to church on Sunday. That becomes a ritual for them, right? So you're going to want to, so when you're looking at this, like bringing in some rituals into your life, maybe you start with once a week, and it doesn't have to necessarily be the same thing that you're doing, but you can infuse some elements to have it have it a little bit more love infused, a little bit more caring for infused rather than taking care. So let's say you actually really love bath time. Let's say that that's something really amazing for you, and you might already have a ritual. It's like, okay, maybe you dim the lights, maybe you light the candles. Like you're setting the environment, you're setting the scene for that self-care moment, right? Now get the senses of the two different possibilities. So you kind of make soft lighting, maybe you put on some music or like one of your favorite kind of podcasts or some energy work stuff. You've got like the bubbles, the oils, the like whatever in the tub. And you give yourself either infinite time or a big window, and you just kind of be with it. Or you got the bright fluorescence on, you're like getting the bath ready. You're like, okay, I only have 20 minutes. And in this time, I got to shave my legs. I got to do all these things. Can you get the difference in taking care of things or caring for? So what you want to start with as you're creating your ritual, we're going to do some steps here, okay, is that you want to look at your environment. And this could be something that you do. You might even want to do like a self-love ritual every morning. I know some people, I did this for a long time and it's kind of shifted in something different. But when I woke up in the morning, my self-love ritual included my body. And I would like wake up and I would literally put my hands on my cheeks. I would thank my body for waking up that morning. Like, thank you for being alive. And I would like hold it and just like hug it, being grateful that it woke up. Because sometimes we wake up and we're like, ugh, I'm awake, rather than like, oh my God, I'm alive today. My body's here. It's alive. I get to be here in this body. And then I would have an evening ritual where I would be in gratitude for me being and everything that I was, everything I gifted that day with my being. So, you're as you're kind of developing your rituals, you're going to want to look at, like, where do you want to start? Do you want to start something once a day? Do you want to do something in the morning, or does it work better for you in the evening? Is it more like you can only do it once a week right now? That's okay. So you're going to want to bring in that energy of self-care, but care for, and self-love. Okay. And so we start with the environment. Just like if you were like romancing or seducing someone, like the environment, the ambiance makes a big difference. Okay. So if it's for you, if it's that morning, you just wake up, maybe you don't open your eyes yet, or maybe you make sure that when you wake up, sun's not blasting in your window. It's got like a soft light, a soft glow. Maybe your alarm, you make sure that the alarm that you wake up to is like gentle and inviting, not like a, like destroying you kind of thing. So you're creating your environment. Okay. So now as you're preparing, I'm going to start adding some rituals to my life. So you've kind of got a sense of how you want to create the environment. And I want you to ask, how can I be caring for me in this? What self-love can I have in this? Like, ask a few questions as you get ready to institute this in your life. So for me, the touching my cheek and thanking my body is, I really desired to create more communion and connection with my body. And I knew that I had mistreated it for so long and that I didn't actually have a ton of gratitude for it. And part of that, like, self-care for my body was to create something different with it. So look at that. What would you really like to create with this ritual? Okay. And then when you're in that, so now you've kind of got that set, you've decided you're going to do it once a week, or you're going to do it every day or every second day, whatever. You kind of have a sense of that. You're looking at, what do you want to create with it? You have your scene set. Okay. And now you're going through the ritual. And when you're in the ritual, you're going to want to bring a lot of presence. You're going to want to, and for some people that don't function from being present in their life or present with their body, this might be that transformation point for you, where you have to maybe push past some unconsciousness or really commit to increasing your presence every day with whatever this is. So I love doing like yoga in the morning or some body movement. And when I first got into it, because I was recovering from a car accident that created a lot of back pain. I would notice I kind of wanted to keep checking out of my body because the pain was really intense, and I was doing really gentle stuff, really gentle movement. And so the more I could be present with the intensity and present with the body movement, it was really creating massive change. So if you have kind of trashed your being, like really devalued your worth, or maybe you've had a partner that's done that, or parents or family or friends that have really like gaslit you out of being, there might be a little bit of a transition period here where when you get really present with yourself, stuff might come up. And that's okay. That's actually great, because you want that to come up so you can move it out, so you can have another possibility. So inviting yourself to be present, even if it might be a little uncomfortable, and even if it's not uncomfortable, just increasing your presence with yourself every day. What a gift. Like, oh my God, I get to hang out with me for a few moments, for 5 minutes. And you can really start this for 5 minutes. If you can do 10, if you can do half an hour, if you can do an hour, oh my goodness, bliss. But start, like, meet yourself where you're at. Okay. So if you're at the place where taking 5 minutes for a ritual like this is a huge deal, then just start with 5 minutes. If you're like, oh, like I already do like 30 minutes, so maybe you want to increase it. So bring that presence, be as fully present as you can with your body, but also with you, the being. So who am I in this moment? You maybe like to watch the sun rise. And in that ritual of being with the sun, you are being you. You are acknowledging your being as it engages with the sun from and with your body. So then, of course, we want to bring in that like kind of appreciation for the moment, really, really acknowledging the moment in that presence. We're kind of doing a little bit together right now. I don't know if you've noticed. I really wanted to be the energy of it here with you so that you could bring that into your practice, your self-love practice, your self-love care, your self-love rituals. And then start to notice what you're aware of. And I love questions. The gift of access consciousness. It's something that I use in my life all the time. It's a set of tools and techniques. Well, one of the techniques is to ask questions, and not from looking for the answer, but from getting curious and exploring the awareness that shows up. So if I had, say, the sun gazing moment, right? And I'm watching the sun rise, and I might start asking some questions like, oh, what is, and we're looking at self-love, right? So you could ask, like, what is so wonderful about me that I've never acknowledged? What could I love about me today, truly, deeply love about me today that I've never been able to love about me before? What is great about me that has been made wrong? So this is like these questions you can ask that will truly like open you up to that self-care, that truly caring for you as you start to acknowledge the gift of you. What gift am I in the world that is so far beyond this reality that no one's been able to acknowledge? And then in these questions, and as you're exploring this awareness, I'm going to invite you to really be in communion. And when I say communion, like imagine like there's connecting to something, and then communion is like the higher like gift of that. It's like beyond connection because it's not through a connecting point. Like you're really being in communion with your body and allowing the entirety of your infinite being to commune with that moment and those questions. And then bring on like that energy of nurturing, that energy of caring, of kindness, and gratitude for you. What can you be grateful for you in this moment? And often when people start the practice of gratitude for themselves, they will go to what they're grateful for, what they've done. That's okay. You can start there if you need to. Like, I'm so grateful that today I was able to provide for my family. I'm so grateful today that I, smiled at that passing stranger and saw their world change. Now, the second one was actually more of an acknowledgement of a being. And the first one was more of an acknowledgement of something that you did. Do you get the difference? So being has action. When you're being, it doesn't mean that you're just floating, non-existent in the world. Being can have a lot of action. But when you're taking action from being, it's very different than when you're doing. Doing without being is often a fulfillment of needs. Being, so when you're grateful for what you be, like I'm grateful that I'm on this planet contributing to the earth. I'm grateful that I'm able to receive from my kids. I'm grateful that all these, so yeah, just like start to really let these things come forward and allow yourself to get curious about you. What if you could be more curious about you than you've ever been before? And then most people have some kind of closing or completion or something to kind of like the finale of the ritual. And I always look, for me, is to not like end something. Like, so when closing for me kind of like closes a door, and what I like is to actually have the energy like flow through my whole day, but I am like moving forward into something different. So some type of like completion of that particular ritual. And so then what would be really fun to do that? So maybe you like to like take a big deep breath in and like just kind of absorb everything that you were just present with, everything that you just became aware of. And then maybe you expand out into this new space of being. Maybe you, I personally am not a prayer hands kind of person, but maybe that really works for you. You know, in a lot of yoga practice, they end it with like namaste or a head bow or hand to heart. Look at like what really matches you. Maybe if you did some evening thing and you lit candles, you're blowing out the candles, right? If you were watching the sunrise, then maybe you give a little nod to the sun, or you thank the sun, and then you move forward. So really looking at the beginning to the end of what kind of self-love rituals can you bring. Now, all this being said, I hope that you wouldn't make any of this significant. And a lot of people, they talk about sacred, making something sacred and sacred rituals. Well, the word even sacred itself has a lot of judgments attached to it, and it has a lot of significance. And so when you make something significant, you actually contract it and make it smaller than what it was, what it could be, what it is. So with these like self-love rituals, I invite you to have play. I invite you to let the seriousness drift off, although there might be moments of seriousness or just moments of presence. But if you can keep the significance out of it, can you sense the expansion this can be in your life? So now your weekly bath might be completely different if you're willing to just kind of like, what like delicious ritual for self-love can you have? And maybe you don't even do the same ritual every week or even every day. Maybe every day you get to explore, what would I like? How would today like to be? That pulls off the significance too, right? So maybe it's like you want to do something, what you're aware of is, I want to start my day with something beautiful every day. Okay. So then you've kind of scheduled in, here's my 30 minutes or my hour. It starts at 6 a.m. and ends at 7 a.m. And then every day, maybe you're setting the scene differently. Maybe one day you're journaling, and the next day you're talking to the sun. And the next day you're dancing and moving your body. You can have like a lot of play and a lot of movement, and you don't have to do something in a controlled fashion. You can actually have a lot of delicious chaos with your rituals because you get to make up your own rules, right? You get to make up your own rules. If you chose to do something like this and you created some kind of, self-love practice once a day, or like I said, it could be just once a week. How would your intimacy with yourself be in like 3 months from now? Do you get a sense that you might care for yourself a little more or a lot more? Are you willing to care for yourself? For me, and this is actually a great, curious question to explore, like what comes up when I ask you that question. Are you willing to care for yourself? And again, I'm not saying take care. Take care occurs when you're taking care of yourself. It occurs when you're caring for yourself. Because when you really care for someone, you don't let them starve or be destroyed. If you really care for an item, like a piece of jewelry, or maybe you really care for your car or your house, you don't let it get run down. You take care of it. But care for comes first. It's the leader. So then when those actions of taking care of something, it's infused with a totally different energy. Even I remember when I would try and take care of my skin, meaning like I'm rubbing on lotion. Oh, see, I couldn't even do it rub. I would almost be like smacking my body because I'm just like, oh, I have to take care of this. One more thing to take care of, and this is so annoying. But when I started to care for my body, my interaction, my engagement with just putting lotion on completely changed. There was way more pleasure in it for me. And then I actually started to kind of have this little ritual that I would have, like just moments with my body when I was finished in the shower. So are you willing or allowed to care for yourself? Back to what I was going to say before is that I had bought, and I don't know where I got this idea. I have no idea, but I had this sense in my world that if I really cared for me, then that would take away from others, because I knew somewhere that I wouldn't be willing to abuse myself for others if I truly cared for myself. So I wouldn't really allow myself to care for myself too much so that I wouldn't take away for other people. I know that's insane. It took me a lot of curious questioning to actually even come to that awareness and look and go, whoa, wow. What is possible from people in my life from a place where I truly care for myself? It's a whole different playground, actually. And, if you're a parent, this is like a good pain point for you, especially the first year or two. Like whether you're the mother or the father, there is a level of this baby's more important. And I don't shame that. I don't say it's wrong. I mean, it's whether it's instinct or social pressure, I don't know. It doesn't matter. That's a whole nother topic to explore. But imagine how much caring you can have for your child when you care for you and what you're showing them. Because if you don't care for you, you might be taking care of the things, but if you don't truly care for you, kids will learn from what you be. So if you're not willing to be caring for you, you're teaching them that that's not appropriate. Even if you care so much for them, somewhere in their world, they're going to buy that, okay, maybe it's okay now, but when I'm an adult or when I have kids of my own or whatever that is, right? That's not to, again, make anyone feel bad about their parenting or parenting skills. There's a bazillion different ways to parent, and everyone has to find their own magic with that. But what I am pointing out is these places where maybe you've decided that you can't care for yourself in the way that you'd really like to. Or if no one cares for you, how are you supposed to care for you? That's another big one. Maybe you really want a caring partner and you've tried desperately to find someone that just is willing to just care, like just give a damn. And you keep coming up with people that they just want to take from you. They want to use you. They want you to take care of them, not care for them, but just take care of them and prove that you care for them by taking care of them. But you can be the true energy of caring for someone and not take care of them. Because sometimes empowering someone to take care of themselves is from that space of caring for. So what caring for you could you choose that maybe you've never been willing to choose before? For whatever that background idea is, whether it's some of the insane stuff that I brought up that was going through my head, or maybe you have other stuff that I've never even explored before, that's in your curious universe, that's in your world. How much are you allowed to care for you until it's selfish, until it's wrong, until it's egotistical? How much are you allowed to care for you, the being and the body? How much are you allowed to care for you? And what if you could grow that every day? Care for you a little bit more, and care for you a little bit more, and care for you a little bit more. Truly, the more I've grown the caring I have for myself, the more intimacy I've had with myself has allowed me to have more intimacy and caring with others. It's so bizarre because I also thought that someone was going to come along and see me like the diamond in the rough. Like I'm Aladdin in the cartoon. I'm not Jasmine the princess. No, I'm Aladdin. I'm the diamond in the rough. I'm the poor scraggly person. And someone was going to see in me a gift. They were going to see, it's like that whole, like someone got discovered, someone was going to discover that I was a gift. I wasn't the pile of crap that I had decided that I was. And I'm like, if they could see it in me, then I'll finally be able to see it in me. But it doesn't actually work that way. Funny enough. And actually gratefully enough, because a lot of people are so consumed with what's going on in their world, they're not even looking for the gift of you. So how much caring can you have for you that would invite the world to be a more caring place? You see, when we're willing to have that energy for ourselves, for our being and our body, we be that energy, okay? Your infinite being is being the energy of caring. And that creates a more caring world because we're all connected. We're all in oneness together. And the more you amp up and amp up and amp up and amp up that caring for those around you, those connected to you, they can't help but be affected by that. And you start to create a more caring world. Imagine a world based more on intimacy and caring and kindness. I will have that world. And this is something that you could choose to create a greater world for you. even if it's just in your own life. And it's maybe too overwhelming to think about your effect on the world, but you do affect the world. And you can change your own world with some simple rituals and practices. If you would like to explore this more, I have a really fun kind of event, 8-week journey coming up this summer. It's free, completely free. And I'm going to be going on Instagram Live every Wednesday at the same time. And I'm going to use the tool of writing. I love writing. I've written, chapters and books that I've published. I'm writing my own book right now. And I actually have a few novels kind of on the side that I've been playing with for the last couple of years. But I love blog writing, and I love writing letters. I love free flow writing that never has to be perfect and never has to go anywhere. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to romance ourselves this summer. We're going on a self-love discovery, and we're every day I'll give you different prompts, and we're just going to write together and hang out on Instagram together. I would love for you to join me if that would be fun. It's something totally different and a different way of engaging that, oh my goodness, like just imagine falling in love with yourself this summer. I don't know if you've ever had one of those summer romances where you just fell in love, and I have, and oh my gosh, it's so fun. So what if this summer you could fall in love with you? And and if you're not a writer, that's okay. I mean, I like it. You could write lists. It could be bullet points. No one is going to grade your writing. It's just for fun. Okay. So join me. It's starting soon. The first week of July. I think it's the 5th is that Wednesday. And I'll see you on Instagram. Bye for now. Thanks for joining me in the Curious Universe. Thank you for exploring the Curious Universe with me. Your curiosity matters. And what if together we could create a greater, more curious world?